Guenther, you're back at the Adelaide Motorsport Festival again. There must be a good reason for that?
Yeah, it's a good reason. The good reason is it's a very good event, you know. The team here puts a good show on, you know. It's always good to be back. The weather is good, you know. What more you want in life than racing cars and good weather and good food?
Also, and as well as the Adelaide Motorsport Festival, you had your show here on Friday. How did that go?
It went well. We had the show on Friday here and then before in Perth, and now we continue to go. I need to think where we go, to Sydney, Newcastle, Melbourne, Gold Coast. No, it is well, you know, everything is good. It's always good to be here. I've got my family with me to Australia this year for 2 weeks, you know, so it's nice to be here.
Awesome. There's some big changes coming to F1 this year and also obviously going into 2026. Probably one of the bigger ones is there's going to be 11 teams. What do you think of that for the progression of Formula One?
I think next year there's a lot of new things, as you said, next year. A new regulation, complete new regulation, power unit and chassis regulation, so everybody has to develop completely from scratch. So very difficult to predict what is good. As you said, coming an 11 team is something new. There hasn't been an 11 team for now, I think, 8-9 years. Last time there was 11 teams on the grid, so it is quite interesting, you know, a lot of things to look forward to. Obviously with a new team coming, 2 more new seats, see who's going to drive the cars for that team. But there's a lot of excitement, and then this year we have got 6 rookies in the championship, you know, so also that is very exciting. So a lot of good things happening in F1.
You spoke about the new seats with that 11th team coming in. Do you see that as an opportunity for you to potentially get back into the sport?
No, I don't think so. In the moment, I'm very happy where I am. After I stepped out of the team management last year, I quite enjoy it in the moment. So for me, it is like, if there is a project I'm interested in, but you know, there's enough people in that team now, they don't need me.
And you touched on it before, in 2026 we see these new regulations coming in, slightly smaller chassis, new aerodynamics. Do you think these will be effective in bringing the racing even closer?
The racing in the moment is as close as it ever was, in my opinion, you know, because if you look at it from the first to the last, sometimes in qualifying they are within a second, you know, which is nothing if you really think about it. So I think normally when a new regulation comes in, the first year some people get it better or righter, even if that doesn't exist. Some people get it right and some don't, and then it takes a few years that everybody gets closed again. So, but you never know when a new regulation comes. That is the thing. Nobody knows what is happening, who gets it right, who gets it wrong, you know. So it's very, I really look forward to that one, because it could mix the field up completely next year.
And as you mentioned before, 2025 is bound to be an exciting season with so many new rookies. What do you expect to see, and especially with a few more Australians on the grid now?
Yeah, you Australians are always well represented in Formula One. You know, having 10% of the grid, it doesn't show where the country is. I don't think the country is 20% of the 10% of the population in the world. You know, so no, you guys are doing always well with drivers. I think the rookies, it's interesting for the sport. Some will stay, some will go, you know, because it's now, they have been all good in F2 and F3, otherwise they wouldn't have made it to F1. But then going from F2 to F1, it's again a big step, and the only thing which talks in Formula One is performance. If you're performing, you're here to stay. If you're not performing, you're here to go. As cruel as it sounds, but that is, it's competition, it's a sport, you know. So, but my expectation is that some of them will be really good. You know, there is some big talent in, but it's just time will tell.
Awesome. And one of the big talking points at the moment is obviously Jack Doohan, the Aussie, coming onto the grid, but having that pressure of a certain Argentine behind him and Colapinto. As a team principal, what are your thoughts on that kind of situation, especially for Jack having that added pressure in a rookie season?
I think the pressure comes from outside, and like a lot of these things which are happening in F1 is like somebody said, oh, he has got only 6 races and then will be decided, and somebody said it, somebody repeated it, and it got bigger and bigger. I don't even know if it is true, because nobody knows where it comes from. So for me, it's an exaggerated rumor. But again, obviously, in F1, it's not only him under pressure. Everybody needs to perform, but if he performs, he will be fine. There will be no problem. Obviously, he needs to perform. And I always think that He has got his father, Mick, the legend, around, you know, so he will help him to go through this pressure he has got on it, because you know, when you're a race car driver, you've got always pressure. And I just don't see where it came from. I mean, it wasn't an official statement. So if there is no official statement, I always assume that it is somebody opened his mouth, not knowing what he's saying, just wanting a headline. So and then Jack needs to stay calm, do what he's good to do, race cars, and then the performance will come and he will be here to stay. I maybe simplified a little bit, but that's what it is about.
What's 2025 going to be for you?
For me personally, I'm going to do quite a bit of TV work. I mean, I did half of the races last year. It will be half of the races this year I will be attending. I'm doing here in Australia for Network 10, and then I go on to China doing it for RTL German TV. But you know, I'm very busy and I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm now in Australia for more than 2 weeks, you know, so it's good, you know, so I cannot complain.
And Adelaide's put the weather on for you as well.
Absolutely, Adelaide is the weather for. I think Melbourne gets a little bit cooler, but you know, it's very warm here. But I rather have it too warm than too cold.
Cool. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.